Habila kedai mamak macam tu, everybody's like that.
Yeah.
I said, no, not really. But I think it's important that you learn how to spend your money. I make $1. Where's my dollar back? He wants the capital back.
Wow.
I need to exit in 5 years. I said, well, thank you. Exit now. I want to feel the pain.
Pain of letting the money go. You had holes in your shoes.
I hold you back.
Kasian.
So when, kasian.
Mydin, Malaysia's favorite one-stop shop for everything. Datuk Ameer Ali grew up in an entrepreneurial family. He worked in a bank for 6 years before expanding his family's business to 68 stores across the country. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Datuk Ameer.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
So I think almost every single Malaysian recognizes the blue and yellow Mydin storefront. Your family, you actually came from very humble beginnings. And I don't think a lot of people know that story. So from my little bit of research, but I'm sure you'll give me the full story, your father was an entrepreneur, your grandfather was an entrepreneur, and he was an immigrant, I believe, came from India to Penang. He started a small business. And then later your father started in the 50s and your grandfather was in 1918, right? And then later you started getting involved when you were a teenager. Tell me what it was like growing up in that sort of entrepreneurial family.
Well, I think it's like that. Obviously, my grandfather is the one, right? He's the one who migrated from India. Right? My late father was born in Penang. That means been around in Malaysia for more than 100 years. In reality, when my father was young, he was rich. He was filthy rich. That means my grandfather seriously was rich. Right? Rich because this is what my father tells me.
Okay.
Right? So how rich? I mean, this is before the Second World War,
Yes.
right? So his father had a car, right? So I said, really, my God. But what happened during the Second World War, that shop that we had called Ghulam Hussain Jamal, which is my grandfather's name, right? Got bombed.
Oh.
And his father, my father's brother, and the son passed away at the shop during the war. And after that, they became poor. I mean, seriously, there was no insurance those days, right? So that's what they had. It's gone, all gone. So my father started selling on the streets in Penang Road, Majid Kapitan, that kind
Yes,
of area.
yeah.
So he started selling on the street and slowly businesses, and then slowly business went up. And people tend to think, because of the word Mydin itself, sounds very Penang, Mama kind of thing. They say, oh, Mydin must be from Penang. But in reality, it's not. What happened is that my father, I was born in 1956, so dah tua lah, or 1956. But in 1957, which is independence, right? My father actually migrated with me to Kelantan. So actually, Mydin started in Kelantan. And we started pasar malam, selling on the roadside. I remember those days, I used to go with my elder brother, 2 for 5 ringgit or 2 for 1 ringgit probably, and but that was tough. I can equate that to the Palestinian people now. You say, oh, it's so tough. You look at them and say, oh my God, we are living in luxury, right?
We're living like kings.
It's exactly like that, all right? That means food for us was 1 fish curry, 1 fish divided into 7 children, and mother and father only has the curry.
Yeah.
Right? That's tough. If you are asked to buy 2 fish curry, you are taught, see, this is entrepreneur, this is business. How we do now is that, okay, 2 toko ikan, pack it up for me, and that guy puts 2 fish plastic bag, wraps it up, and give it to you. Just no, never do that. 2 fish curry, pack separately. So you get a lot of curry. Curry is the more important part, because that's your dinner, and the curry is your breakfast. Seriously, at that time, to have roti telur, we bring our own egg to the mama shop.
And tell them to cook it in the bread.
So you see, you save money because you bring your own egg and then he cooks for you the roti telur.
If you did that today, what would happen?
They would throw the eggs at you. So I think this is important to see where we learn, what we learn. And those small things matter because you learn how to be frugal, money matters, discipline. As we grew up.
You learned this in your house.
Kota Baru. I mean, we find nowadays, for example, that when we hire cashiers, And people give cash, they start counting money. They count the money 3 times, they're so scared, right? But for people like us who grew up, when I remember when we come back from school, you stay in the shop. The father goes for lunch. Nowadays, we stay hungry. Children, please eat, At the end of the day, when you have the money collected, you put all in the plastic bag.
Yeah.
Now you say no to plastic bag, but those days, you put everything in the plastic bag. He brings it up, then all 7 children, 7 of us, all sit on the bed with him. Empties the plastic bag, throws everything on the bed. Count. You learn how to handle money. So from the young age,
It was like
5 years, 7
natural
years,
for you.
9, you already taught. So you know how to arrange money. I give you $100. Say, okay, that's not how you arrange. Or the agong's head has to be one side. Every 9, then you put one.
Yeah.
After 10, you tie a rubber band. Then
So Dato', you had a crash, like you had an executive MBA by the time you were like 18.
Definitely, because you see what happens is that you learn, and there's incentive, of course. After you finish counting, everybody gets 10 cents. And that goes straight to the tabong. You don't get the 10 cents
So
to
you
keep
were
yourself.
taught even how to save.
That goes straight away, the piggy bank is there. And then you go to the piggy bank and put the money inside. So this is where you learn money.
Yeah.
I'll give you another story. When you go to school, at that time, my father used to sell toys. From progressing from Pasar Malam to a shop. So when I was 7 years old, we had a shop in Jalan Tua Hakim. You pick up all the toys. I mean, those days, if people remember, if your audience probably don't remember, but there's a series called Combat. The soldiers with guns.
Yeah.
One soldier with a gun like that, one soldier with a gun like
I
that.
remember
So
those.
they're all green and all they come in a packet of 10.
Yeah.
So my father gives this to me, says, go and sell. So we go to school, the whole packet of 10 soldiers is a ringgit. So one soldier is 10 cents.
Yeah.
You go to school, you sell 20 cents, 20 cents, 20 cents, 20 cents, right?
Ah, you made a profit.
You make $1. When you come back to your father, he wants to see how much you made. He says, I make $1. So I got $2, right? And you expect the old man to tell you, great son, keep the money. Where's my dollar back?
Wow.
He wants the capital back.
Wow.
And that $1 is your money and you spend it.
As
Then-
you wish.
Very difficult to be as you wish, right? But anyway, that is your food money
Right.
anyway. So you go to
Okay.
canteen, that's 10
Okay.
cents, 20 cents. And roti chana was 10 cents anyway, right? If you remember what roti chana now. So use that money. When the money finishes, or meanwhile, halfway, he gives you another toy. You don't sell, you stay hungry, right? So this is where you learn
Wow, it's a real
what
lesson.
is hunger, what is money, and the value of money. I mean, I think I remember when my son was growing up, I said, let's go for coffee. And he says, let's go to, I wouldn't mention the name, obviously, but your $12 coffee shop, right? Then he's having his $12 coffee and I'm going to a mama shop. And I find that I'm paying, well, now 2 ringgit or now 3 ringgit even for my teh tarik and roti canai. And the guy is having his $12 coffee. And that money is also mine and this money also mine, right? But as he grows up, and of course,
Yes.
when he starts working, they say, hey, come, let's go for coffee. Your favorite coffee shop?
Changed.
No, it's so expensive. Let's go to the mama shop. See, when you learn the value of money, when you are young and you train them up. So I think this is important.
Yeah. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a certain mindset, a certain attitude. And just listening to your stories, Datuk, it's perseverance. It's really, it's blood, sweat, and tears. It's not this glamorous, perception that we see in. Do you think that the generation today really have that mindset towards entrepreneurship?
Well, those who want to get
Can
rich,
anyone do it?
I'm sure. But I think things change. I think important to note is sometimes how you bring up your kids, of course. When my son finished his university, I tell people this is how your children, I can't even handle my own son, right? So after he finished, I said, I always tell people, go to university.
Yes.
I mean, don't get your basic done. Okay, you learn. And plus, I think universities, for that matter, you develop a lot of things. Independence, friendship, and that co-working group, But after you finish school, I say, hey, where are you going to work? You see, in Mydin, we don't allow our children to come and join us.
Yeah.
We want them like 5 years, 7 years, go and work somewhere. My nephews started after university, they joined.
Yes.
My 2 eldest nephew, that was because I think during that time, the thinking was different. hey, we need all the people we can, and you got your own people, right? But later part, I realized that's the biggest mistake you ever make.
Right.
Now, because they walk in, they says, I'm the boss.
Yeah. A sense of entitlement.
Yeah, right. So after that, my other nephews, we insisted that they work. So even my son, I said, hey, what you want to do? He said, why don't you go and work somewhere? Oh, I'm an entrepreneur, just like you. Okay. I said, what do you want to do? I'm going to sell ice cream.
Okay.
So he actually bought a truck, an ice cream truck, and started driving around in Bangsa where I stay.
Yes.
Not bad. He parked the ice cream truck in front of a famous brand. I would mention the brand, but I think you can guess 33 flavors or whatever you want to call it, right? He parked it right in front of that place and sells ice cream.
Okay.
And
bold.
Very bold, but that's the way to do it, right? In front of your competitor, right? You do that in front of your competitor because you get their customers, then you fight for service, quality or price. And then the developer of Bangsa area who happens to know me, he calls me, Datuk, your son is selling right in front of my tenanted lot. And the tenant is complaining to me. I said, well, call Bandaraya.
That's true.
I said, call Bandaraya. Then, seriously. Then my son comes to me and says, should I settle? I said, that's one thing you don't do. Go and find another place, And I asked him seriously, I said, ice cream truck? Seriously, you want to do this? Okay. What will you be doing 5 years' time then? Without blinking an eye, I said, I have 100 ice cream trucks.
Wow.
I said, oh, okay. Well, they didn't have the 100 ice cream truck, but actually he had that vision. The thought that it's not an ice cream truck. I'm going to have 100 ice cream trucks within 5 years. So that's fine.
But I feel like you grew up in an ecosystem of entrepreneurship. You learned these lessons when you were a kid. Your father taught you them, and you did the same with your son.
Right.
Not everyone is as lucky, right? What happens to the...
Fine.
If you don't grow up with that...
I agree. I mean, I seriously agree because I'm actually shocked. Many of them are very successful. Just last week, 2 weeks ago, I brought a group of entrepreneurs to China. I'm the so-called the president of the Bumiputra Retailers Organization. So we thought, to me, small businesses, come, why don't I show you where Mydin buys things from?
Yes.
Pass my knowledge,
yes.
pass my time, I mean, right? I'm already 68 now, right? And my brother says, you must be nuts. But I say, it's all right. You share and you grow, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I bring these entrepreneurs there and show them this is the place, this is Iwu, the market and whatever. And over coffee, sometimes we think so highly of oneself. Oh, hello, young man. How are you doing? What business are you doing? Oh, I'm selling phone accessories. Says, oh, that's why you're coming with us. I'll show you where to buy. Say, how many shops do you have? Sorry, Datuk, I'm a small business. Only 200.
Oh my God.
I say, oh my God, you're bigger than me. I say. So sometimes we...
we have... The reality is you have the internet, you have access to all the possible information you could have all over the world nowadays. If you know how to use the tool well...
Right. So there are people there. I think the second one will do very well.
Yeah.
Will do very well. So I think it's a matter of time. The stupid internet doesn't help. It helps too much one side. All the guys like me to a real disadvantage. But seriously, we also go online and we got young guys.
You have to adapt and move with the times too.
No choice. You have to adapt. You have to adapt because I think important here is that you must not stop learning. I think everybody says that, right? And I think you keep going. You keep going and you keep traveling. Actually, it's very stress-free when you travel, when you go and buy, especially when you enjoy what you're doing.
That's important.
And you pick up things. And this is the training that we have to tell our buyers. When you buy a watch, what are you thinking of? They say, oh, it's 10 ringgit. Cost 10, I can sell at 19, I make $9. Not bad. Because you look at the item, you can normally tell how much you can sell something for. That's mistake number one. You never buy something and say how much I can sell for. You should always buy something and say, if I cannot sell, how much can I sell it for? So you know the bottom.
Right.
Never think of the top that gives you that thing, oh, I'm going to make money, man. Always think, if I cannot sell something, so you pick up something, say, any shirt at 10 ringgit, people will pick it up. Any watch at 10 ringgit, people pick it up.
But Mydin is a multi-billion ringgit business today, right? And you look at the tech world now and their burn rate, everyone's like, what's your burn rate? And they just raise capital and they spend it. And sometimes they don't even have profits to show for the business. So very different business model compared to the brick and mortar business model, which is Mydin. What are your thoughts on this way of running a business? Is it just a new way of running certain types of businesses?
I can give you my thoughts on this. And people say, this old man doesn't know what's happening in the real world. But seriously, we are just building paper out there. It's just going to crash. Because at the end of the day, something must have a value. Like US dollar, which has no value, but highly valued. Yep. Right? Gold has a value. Right? At the end of the day, people will go back to basics. It has to go. Investing in AI, like ChatGPT, you can say, is it worth that trillion dollars? I don't know whether it's worth that trillion, but it's definitely worth something because it made life easy for all of us. Made life easy for me. So whatever makes life easy for you must be worth something,
So for Mydin, where the business is at now, are you publicly listed? Would you want to be? Is it very much, you want to keep it a family-owned, family-run business? Would you look for external investors? Are these conversations
You mean look for vultures?
Perhaps, yes, we can call them that.
Because, the time these people come in.
Yeah.
Investors. And when investor, they come, they look long-term. I want to buy in your company. I want to improve your sales. Fine. I got some expertise. That's fine. How can you move forward? I got my contacts.
Yes.
Why not? Let's move forward. But the first thing they come in says, I need to exit in 5 years. Tell me.
Yeah.
I said, well, thank you. Exit now.
Yes.
I think this is the thing that we look at, rightly or wrongly. It all depends. But at the end of the day, even if I sell it all and I get some money out of it, whatever it's worth, what am I going to do with it? I will still have the same roti canai at Mabu, same teh tarik, which I enjoy. I'm not going to go for that omakase. How can you pay that kind of money for any food? And I'm going to Vietnam on economy class because Malaysian Airlines business is so expensive. So I don't change that, sorry.
Yes, I can see that. It's a very interesting lesson, I think, for a lot of the younger generation to look at. And when COVID happened a few years ago, we knew people were suffering. People had lost their jobs. They had no money to put food on the table. Life was very, very hard. We had the white flag movement. We remember this.
Yeah, of course.
People were hanging white flags out of their homes. We also had the floods at the same time. So Malaysia was in a pretty bad situation. And I think there was a couple of thefts at your stores, a couple of your stores. And you made this comment. You said, I do not condone such such acts of theft. However, due to emergency, it is possible that people had no other options but to do it in order to survive. With all sincerity, I give my permission for them to do it, to steal, but only with the intention of survival because of the delay in aid relief and not because of any other reasons. Wow. How many other businessmen would have made a statement, such a bold statement like that?
I must be high on something. No, seriously.
And they stole from your store?
Of course. No, I think it's like this. When you first see it, you get angry, obviously. How dare you?
That's the immediate...
Of course, that's the immediate human reaction. How dare you steal, right? But then sit down and think. And then you look at the video clip and what they were stealing. Basic, right? We have theft. You won't believe.
The amount of theft?
Amount of theft we have in hypermarket. Seriously, it comes to about $30 million a year, So we know what people steal, why they steal, right? Syndicates steal. But what you see people stealing. So there are two kind of stealing that was going on. Yeah. One was for necessity, and there were people actually stealing watches like that, okay? So my thing was that if you steal those watches and you go and sell it, and you take the money, buy food, because you needed food, it's fine. Saya halalkan, But if you steal watches, you're a syndicate, you want money, and you're
Yes.
just basically a thief.
Yes.
Then I will never halalkan, and and let the police do what they need to do. When you see what's happening in Palestine,
Yeah. It's
you
sickening.
understand it more. I mean, at that time, maybe I didn't understand it enough, but when I see it now, I really understand things, right? And all the money that you have, if you can't help somebody,
What's the point?
what's the point of having money?
Yeah. There was a second thing that happened during COVID. You said that you would not fire or let go any of your staff. Is that really what you guys did?
Yeah. Never fired anybody. And you know what? We had such cash flow issues. No matter what you say, we lost our $100 million for that 1 year, for 2 years consecutively, because we were just burning money, serious money, burning. We actually paid our staff 50%, plus or minus. So what we did, people earning less than 1,500, we paid them full.
Okay.
Whoever was above that, there was some 2,000 ringgit above. Then we said, we pay you 50%. Oh my God, the staff said, seriously? I said, no. The other 50%, I will pay you back 1 year later.
When you recoup.
I mean, life.
Yeah.
Okay? So give me some time.
Yeah.
And I will pay you back that money every month or whatever, and I will finish it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Not even one staff resigned, Not even one
That's
staff.
a very big testament to your...
Yeah. And they said that because other people were saying, I pay you 50%. Thank you very much. I won't pay you back. But I said, this is your money. If I can make back my money, I mean, if I don't make it, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I can cover myself. I shouldn't be profiteering from people's. I mean, they got their commitment. They have whatever to pay. I'm sure they have their own challenges. So let's not take from them. And it was all the way from somebody who earned 2,000 to somebody who earned God knows how much in Mydin. We pay quite well, actually.
Yeah. So what are if you had to summarize like the values, the essence of Mydin, and these values that you learned from your father, from your grandfather, that you passed down to your son, but also that you share with the thousands of employees that you have in the company, what are they?
Only one, I think. Makan duit halal. So,
Okay.
integrity. So you see, when even staff, when I meet staff for the first time, or I meet staff who are resigning, and normally they come to say, oh, sorry, I apologize. Halalkan, you forgive whatever I've wrongly eaten, they say wrongly. I say, kalau salah tu tak apalah, But if you have stolen anything, I will never halalkan. You see, because there's knowing. Unknowingly.
Intention.
Yeah, unknowingly you could have made a mistake. That's fine. And make me lose money, obviously, by your mistakes. But then there's an experience in itself. But not when you steal. So I think integrity. I hope our politicians are listening to this. Not your audience, but integrity.
So young politicians, upcoming politicians.
Upcoming politicians, idealistic politicians. Integrity is very, very important.
Yeah. So I asked Datuk if he could bring something meaningful, right? And you brought these 2 books. This is sort of a biography of your life growing up and tells us about the business as well.
First, I must tell your audience that the photo is mine, but I'm not the author.
Okay.
And credit must be given to my wife. She did all the research and, all those kind of things, right? Actually, this is my shop in Penang, actually.
Oh, Ghulam Hussain.
My grandfather.
Your grandfather's shop.
Actually, this is after the 1980s.
Okay.
This is where my father grew up, in Penang. Soong Hong Leng. This is still there. It's still owned by my late uncle. Right? So it's interesting to I think my wife did such a good job,
How long did it take her to...
God knows, man. Wow. Why? I'm reliving my late father and my mother still alive, but that photo.
I love looking at these old photos.
And you would think that we always thought this was their marriage photo.
Yeah,
all this
so.
while we
It's
thought
not.
it was. But it's not. Because my mother got married at the age of 13. And definitely that's not 13-year-old, right? But God knows how they got married that young. That's the first shop.
This one is in Kota Baru.
In Kota Baru.
Kelantan.
Correct. Kota Baru. first shop, second shops, and well,
And I was listening somewhere. You said when you got married, you said you did not have enough money to buy new wedding shoes.
the story. Oh my God, you have done your work. Huh?
You had holes in your shoes.
I hold you.
Kasian.
So kasian, betul, right? So I went to my mother-in-law's house, for that so-called ceremony, right? So I actually took off my shoes, went in. I said, I hope nobody picks those shoes up. Because actually had holes in it. Lucky my socks didn't have holes, You wouldn't believe it. People say, oh, where did you propose to your wife? Come on, which place was it? It was a mama restaurant, It was a mama restaurant in Jalan Tukar Rahman. I mean, I can mention this restaurant. It's Bilal. Yeah. The restaurant is no more there. Bilal.
I should ask her thoughts on this.
Oh, she has got excellent memory for those kind of things. And I think women tend to have.
Yes.
They remember. That's another problem, but never mind.
It's a double-edged sword, good and bad.
Correct. But I think my wife is the soft spot. That 44 years of marriage, being together 44 years, has made me a better man, I hope. I used to be very kasar, very... but in all humility, that softness comes from her, definitely not from me, from her. I tell people, and this question, even if you ask me a question, tell me to be a successful businessman. Tell me one secret. You better marry the right woman, or the right man for that matter, right? Because without the support of that woman, how in the world are you going to do work? Seriously. If she says, I want to go shopping, why are you not home? It's already 6 o'clock. Where's my vacation? That kind of thing, right? So she sacrificed her life, seriously.
But isn't it, so if I look at couples today, I don't think they're at that level of, I'm going to sacrifice for you or you're going to sacrifice.
Well,
what's the compromise?
No. Let me correct that. I think we sacrificed each other, seriously. Because when she was doing her PhD, I remember going to UK. She wanted to do some research and I was babysitting the kids. So I think sacrifice is both sides.
Both ways. Yeah.
Both ways. But I think why I say the women basically, unfortunately, the sacrifice tends to be more. Because she not only works, she takes care of the kids. And if she has a husband like me, then she says, oh my God, that guy needs to be taken care also, right? Food on the table, everything must be ready. Maybe only now I wash dishes, but those days were not.
But do you think it correlates, like the partner that you're with, that you marry, to building a successful business? Do you think that you can actually see a connection between the two?
No, I think that if you marry the wrong person, you are done. Whichever way, whether it's business or work or whatever, support is very important. Space. And I think it's very important that you are able to communicate and talk to your partner.
Communication.
Very, very important.
That's something we need to teach men, how to be better communicators. Do you agree?
Better listeners.
And better listeners.
I don't know. I think man only listens and woman only talk. But oh my God, somebody's going to kill me after this. So I think it is important both ways.
Both ways.
But I think there's something that I learned from my wife after work, or say when I come back home after a quick shower, whatever. She actually comes and sits down.
And just spends that time.
How was your day? And then she starts talking and doesn't stop. But anyway, but I think the more important part is we have got that over with.
Yeah.
So she has got this thing bottled in her.
That she needs to
that she wants to tell.
Yeah.
To that conversation, seriously. I think that part in marriage is very, very important. And that could be 5 minutes. It could be half hour. My God, it could drag dinner and continue part 2. Seriously. I encourage every marriage partner. I'm not a counselor here. My wife is, but I'm not a counselor. Come home, sit down, off that phone for a while.
Yeah, with no distraction.
Put it away and talk, or let her talk, or let you talk. Doesn't matter. You need the stability, the emotion in marriage. I mean, otherwise, how hell did I survive 44 years? Or how did we survive?
So I would like to play a little card game with you now. This is a financial card game, right?
All right.
So it's a game in a sense that I'll ask you a bunch of questions and you let me know if it's you, if it's something that you resonate with, if it's not you, or if it's you sometimes. So let's begin. The first question is, I like to keep my options open. I do not want to be tied to a plan.
That's me.
When I go shopping, I have to buy something.
That's definitely not me.
Like from your own shop. No.
Buy from my own shop.
I think things will work out so I don't worry about money.
That's me.
That's you?
Definitely. Yeah. Be positive.
I rarely buy things unless I can pay them off right away.
Only in cash.
Only in cash.
I don't like to use credit cards.
So even big purchases?
What is a big purchase? Like a house?
Like a car?
No. I mean,
Those
cars also sometimes you just pay it off.
But generally you like to always make sure you use cash.
I mean, if you say every other thing.
Every other thing, okay.
Dinner, this. I pay cash.
So in a cashless society...
It's nice. But you know what? You might overspend, not knowing.
Okay, next question.
I want to feel the pain.
Pain of letting the money go.
Tell you something, I go to restaurants. I bring my own drinking water. How can they charge 40 cents, 50 cents for a glass of water, right? I bring my own water.
But why do you think it is that you've remained very prudent?
I tell you a true story. I brought my father to this mabuk restaurant when he was alive, many, many years ago. And obviously when there, he ordered roti canai. He ordered mee goreng. So mee goreng comes with lime, limau, right? So my father tells the guy, give me a few limau, The guy looks at me. I happen to know the owner. I said, old man, give it to him. Why is it difficult? Then he said, bagi ice swam. Those days they never charge for ice swam. So get the ice swam. Then he takes the lime and he squeezes in the water. So he gets air limau lipis. I said, that if you wanted air limau lipis, I ordered for you. I never taught you anything, right? Why you waste money?
Wow.
The lime is free, the water is free.
I mean, how do you argue with that?
You can't. Only thing is the owner there looks at me 2 times.
Like even RM1, you have to do this.
Yeah. I'll be like, Mama, I tend to everybody's like that.
Yeah.
I said, no, not really. Not really. But I think it's important that you learn how to spend your money. Until now, seriously, you won't believe it. I just went for pizza with my son and my whatever family. Drinks. The waiter comes, drinks. My son don't have to ask. Cold water for the mother, hot water. Whatever the pizza costs, you pay for it. Because it's a good pizza. It's a bit expensive, fine. But I'm not going to pay for the orange juice. I sell orange juice. I know how much it costs.
Maybe that's the problem. You know the real value of the cost of things.
Right.
So to pay more,
To pay more just feels wrong. But I think this is probably how you're brought up. And people say, come on, you can afford it. You can't do this to people. Yeah, but that's how you bring up. But I think it teaches you things. After all, orange is not good for you anyway. It's all sugar there. Drink water is better for you. But I think you learned it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I need money, okay, this one I just
NEPS.
ask my friends and family. No.
Sorry, what was the question?
This was when I need money, I ask my friends and family.
Seriously, many, many years ago, I had a friend. He used to work with me. I used to work in a bank. So he needed some money. And I actually withdrew all my money, 15,000 ringgit. My God, it's 40 years ago. There's a lot of money. And I used to go on a motorcycle to work with him. So I actually gave him the money. And then he made his money back. Then he came to give him back the money to me. I gave the money. I said, please pay me back. That's my life. And I didn't even tell my wife about it because she would have killed me. So I gave, and he actually gave me back the money. He said, shall I? The China man, interest, how many percent? I said, no. That's riba. I don't think. Yes. Fine. Many years later, in Masjid, India, I had a shop. And I wanted to buy the shop. And the shop cost $1.8 million. And the bank would want 20%. I had the 20%, right? What happens if I don't get the loan? And this speculative friend of mine become a bloody rich man, So I went to see him. I said, you know what? I want to buy a shop. 1.8 million. I have the 20%. But and I have like 3 months to get the balance or 4 months. If the bank rejects that money, I lose my 20%. Just in case. Can you? I said, don't worry about it. You gave me the 15,000, remember? I said, yeah, but this is 1.4 million. I said, yeah, I'm there for you. Seriously, the bank gave me the loan and I didn't need it. A few years later, I bought another building, $18 million. I had the 20%, but the balance was 15, right? I went back to him. I said, just in case, don't worry about it. I'm here. I didn't need it, but that support was able to push me to the next level. How can you buy an $18 million building, right? So I'm saying that you help people, but as you say, seriously, you don't expect anything back. But sometimes God is kind.
Sometimes, yeah.
God is kind, and he made his money. He's still a friend of mine. He lives a very simple life. Some people are like that. He says, I have your back. Remember? You had my back? I have your back. I think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will pay more for a brand name that others will recognize.
Oh.
Image conscious. No.
No brand.
I will spend a lot of time and energy to get a better deal.
Unfortunately, yes. Maybe it doesn't make sense, but yeah.
I feel I should pay the bill when I eat out with others.
Normally, yes.
Yes. I think people will only like me if I am generous.
No. People should like you for yourself.
For yourself, exactly. If you happen to get extra money by surprise, would you spend it? How would you spend it? Any way you want? Or
Probably save it.
Okay. Okay, so we'll put these aside. And that's me, Pyle. So this basically shows you like your money personality, right? So carefree, planning, giving, status, giving, planning, security, and giving. So then these become the dominant traits or characteristics. Yes. That's very much you. Yes.
I guess so. Looks like it. Giving is true. Planning, of course.
There was the SPM results came out. The numbers said that like 10,000 students didn't want to sit for SPM because they, why do you need to finish your secondary school? You can become an influencer, entrepreneur who needs a degree. And Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, he dropped out, but then he dropped out of Harvard. I don't know if that's different. I mean, yourself, you went to university, you graduated. What's that mindset of the youth today?
I blame the influencer. I really blame these young fellas, who actually show off.
Is it a fake? It's
because
performative.
I think the question is like this. If you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it, kind of thing. So if you have to show off, you have to come here and wear this branded thing, this. It actually means I can't afford it, So I really need to show. I mean, you see those people walking around, whether it's Elon Musk or whatever. In the first place, you never see a brand on them, right? So I think something like you don't want to show. Probably they want to advertise for the brand because they're not getting paid for it. But I think this living in humility is very important. I keep telling these influencers, you made your money, fine. Tell them how you made your money. But don't show off that big car, that sports car there, that big bungalow you're living in.
But you see a lot of the influencers, and they I feel like it's disingenuous to the citizens, society, because they show their big house, these big expensive cars, designer handbags, like they're living the life. And all these people get sucked in, they spend their money, and they end up in debt. They end up bankrupt. They end up broke. Is that a scam?
And unhappy. And I don't think these influencers are happy in the first place. Seriously. Happiness is not money.
You can't buy it, that's for sure.
You can't buy it, right? So, I mean, money helps. I'm not saying it doesn't help, right? But that's not happiness.
Yeah.
A lot of rich people are not happy at all. It's very unfortunate that people get influenced that way. But sometimes the circumstances, what they see, the family, whatever. I just hope they're given a second chance.
Yeah.
There's always a second chance. There's a third chance.
Yes.
Not to say that if you don't go to school, you can't become successful. Some of my family members don't go to school, but they're damn good at what they're doing. But if they had gone to school, I think they'll be better. I think that will have made a difference. I always feel that, number one, go to a school, whatever you qualify for. And then after that, go and work. If you want to do this or you want to do that. I mean, you work for a few years, then you know what you really like, what you don't like.
Yes.
So you must know your work well.
Yeah.
I mean, you ask any mama restaurant owner, he definitely knows how to make that tari, and he knows how to make roti canai. Because if the roti canai guy doesn't turn up, you see the owner doing it, because the restaurant is going to be closed without that roti canai man, or the tari. So the owner must know how to do it.
They say with great power comes great responsibility. Is that at this stage in your life, you feel you've achieved enough, done enough? This is where you want to serve the community
I don't think
more?
anybody have achieved enough because, there's always the next level. Achieve is subjective. We're talking about spiritual achievement, not necessarily monetary achievement. Right? There's always the next step you want to go, and it's not money anymore, or might not even be spiritual, but it is the wholeness of being out there. And I think it's important is to help.
Now for Mydin, when you talk about family businesses, it's always quite interesting because there's a legacy involved, right? It's passed down generation to generation. You read lots of articles and they'll say, oh, third generation will lose the business, or businesses sometimes rarely make it past the third, fourth generation. Is that something your family think about?
I used to think about it, but let it pass. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If people don't want to do it anymore, let it go. If it makes somebody more happy, then let it go. As long as somebody's happy, you're happy with it. I think life is more than that. People say, help people. I have no money to help. You don't need money to help, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the worst, you have nothing, give them your prayers. Bagi doa, we say. Because that when you help someone, the returns you get, I'm not talking about financial return, or people say God gives you back 10 times. Okay, fine, if you believe what you believe. But that internal happiness, it makes you a happy person. If you're happy, then you grow. And that is what is growth all about. It's happiness. And it shows in your face.
Absolutely.
You're happy, it shows in your face,
Especially now where you read so much about people being unhappy. Even in a world of abundance where there's so much, so many people are not happy.
They're not happy because they think too much, I think that number one is, you ask somewhere, I said, we all make mistakes, right? But don't think about it. I make millions of mistakes. Obviously, I'm only human. To err is only human, right? So, I've got wrong businesses. I opened businesses. Mini market, I lost millions of dollars. I've opened superstores, I've lost millions of dollars. But I don't think about it every day, You
move on.
You
learn.
I learn, I just move on. And people say, what could you have done better? I did my best. Come on, lah. Obviously, I did my best. Maybe I wasn't good enough to do that. So let's focus on what we can do. Focus is very important. People tend to want to do too many things. You want to do something, you focus. The young fellow says, I multitask, triple task. No such thing. Seriously, there's no such thing as multitask. You have only one horrible brain up there, right? So when you multitask, you divide it. When you divide it,
and you don't do anything well.
So you don't do anything well. So you might as well, you focus, do something right, do it well, then move to the next one. And don't throw it away. Don't think so much about it. You did your best.
So I'm very honored then. You said yes to be here
Thank you.
on this podcast.
Thank you.
And
with no hesitation. Huh?
Yes, indeed. We were very surprised. We were like, wow, he's just said yes like so fast. Very humbled. So thank you. And I think your story is so important, even just for me, to be honest. Of course, I know Mydin and I've, of course, heard of you, but to really read about you and learn the story, there's so many lessons to be learned. And we have so many Malaysians doing incredible things. If only we, as you say, so many of the answers and the inspiration is with it sitting next to us. It's accessible to us. So, well, thank you so much for speaking with me today. It's been really such a honest, meaningful conversation.
Thank you. Nice to have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.